Imagine a time when a single month lasted like nearly half a year.
Right, just a completely different scale of existence.
Exactly. A time when human biology wasn't, burning out after just 70 or 80 trips around the sun.
Because the universe itself was literally spinning on a slower, vastly more stable axis.
Yeah. And I mean, you probably feel like time is slipping away from you right now, right? You blink, you take a breath, and suddenly it's December all over again.
Oh, absolutely. It's a universal feeling these days.
And we usually write it off as just a side effect of getting older. Or, we blame a packed schedule. But what if the universe is mathematically proving you right?
What if time actually is evaporating, like physically and measurably?
Which brings us to the core of our deep dive today. We're getting into a truly ancient, mind-bending framework of time.
It really is. Because we usually assume time is this rigid, unmoving line, right? And our perception of it just gets a little blurry as we get busier.
Right, but the sources we were looking at today they completely shatter that assumption.
They absolutely do.
Today, we're decoding something known as the 0.2, 0.4, 0.21, 0.32 acceleration model.
Which is quite a mouthful, but the math is fascinating.
It is. Our sources are these highly detailed notes breaking down the cosmic mechanics of the 27.32 Nakshatras, which are traditionally understood as constellations.
Right, constellations or lunar mansions.
Exactly. And these notes explain the frankly terrifying speed of our current era, the Kaliyuga.
Terrifying is definitely the right word for it.
The mission of this deep dive is to help you understand this mechanism. We're going to unpack this ancient astrophysical math to show you how civilizations rise and fall, not by random chance, but on a highly predictable, constantly accelerating schedule. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, so to understand why this new mathematical model is so revolutionary, we really first have to look at the flaw in the older framework.
The one the ancient scholars were previously using.
Exactly, because before the 0.2, 0.4, 0.21, 0.32 ratio, the blueprint of the universe was mapped out on this older 1.2, 0.4, 0.8 acceleration model.
And from what I read in the sources, that old model wasn't exactly wrong, was it?
No, not entirely.
It just had a very specific limitation.
Precisely. I mean, the 1.2, 0.4, 0.8 model was basically flawless for tracking isolated physical phenomena. It perfectly explained the physical speed and the gravitational pulls of planets moving through the void.
So it's like pure astronomy.
Right. If you were strictly an astronomer measuring celestial bodies in a vacuum, the math worked perfectly.
Wait, if the old math works perfectly for planetary gravity, why throw it out when looking at human history?
Well, because it didn't scale to the human experience.
Like, why doesn't the gravity math just naturally apply to us down here on the ground?
Because when scholars actually applied that 1.2, 0.4, 0.8 model to the natural cycle of the Yugas.
Which are these vast, sweeping eras of human civilizations, right?
Yes, the rising and falling of these eras. The model just completely broke down the moment it reached our current era, the Kali Yuga.
It just stopped working.
Completely. The old planetary model stated there should only be 8 major shifts in the solar system during this time.
Okay, 8 shifts.
But when they observed the actual rate at which human civilizations were being destroyed and rebuilt, the math fell spectacularly short.
Because time was shrinking rapidly.
Exactly. The natural cycles of human eras were moving vastly faster than those 8 planetary shifts could ever account for.
Let's see if I can translate this, because it's a lot. It is, it's like having a perfect mathematical formula for how a car's engine works.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Right. Like the combustion, the gear ratios, the fuel efficiency. The math on the machine itself is totally flawless.
Right, the mechanics are sound.
But then you realize that formula completely fails to predict how the actual driver will behave when they are stuck in heavy traffic.
Yes. You can map the cold machine, but the lived experience of the people inside that machine.
Reacting to the chaotic environment.
Exactly. They are operating on a totally different wavelength. What's fascinating here is that tension is exactly what the source material is trying to resolve.
They needed a model for the driver, not just the engine block.
Right. The Virulite 2.4, 0.21, 0.32 model is described in these texts as the eureka moment.
The missing link.
Because it finally bridged the gap between planetary physics and the high-speed lived experience of human civilizations.
So to fix the unpredictability of these human eras, the ancient sages realized they had to, stop looking at the planets altogether.
They had to zoom out.
Yeah. They shifted their focus to a completely different set of cosmic gears. the Nakshatras,
The 27.32 Nakshatras, to be exact.
which is a very specific number.
It is. Now, in modern astronomy, a nakshatra is really just a lunar mansion. It's a segment of the ecliptic.
Like a slice of the sky.
Right. But in this specific ancient cosmology, these aren't just points of light in the sky. They're defined as distinct, inhabited cosmological domains.
And the texts say these realms are inhabited by the sons of Maharishi Kashyapa.
Yes, they do.
Now, we need to pause here because that is a massive esoteric name drop.
It definitely is.
Who is Kashyapa, and, why do his sons matter to the physics of time?
So, Maharishi Kashyapa is recognized in these texts as a primordial sage. Essentially, he's one of the principal architects of the cosmic ecosystem.
Like a foundational builder.
You can think of him as a progenitor of universal order, and his sons, who inhabit these nakshatra realms, they act as the presiding deities for the civilizations that exist in every single natural cycle.
Overseeing everything.
Right. They oversee the unfolding of human eras based on very strict divine codes called Daiv rules.
Dave rules. So if they are essentially cosmic admins, what are they actually doing day to day?
Regulating the flow, essentially.
How do these Dave rules actively affect the people living in the civilizations below them?
Well, the text outlines a really strict structural hierarchy based on cosmic adherence. The Daiv rules act as the operating code for reality itself.
Okay, the operating code.
If a civilization follows the code, they remain in a stable flow of time. It's peaceful.
But what if they don't?
Those who go against these divine rules, they generate friction, and they end up residing in the lower realms.
Ah, so they've dropped down.
Exactly. They are subjected to much harsher, vastly faster cycles of decay and rebirth.
I think I get it.
Yeah.
Think of these 27.32 nakshatras, 27 and a change different server realms in a massive multiplayer online game.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. Each server is governed by different admin rules set by Kashyapa's sons. And those specific rules dictate how fast the game plays out for the civilizations living inside it.
The speed of the server, essentially.
Exactly. And if your civilization breaks the terms of service, if you violate those Daiv rules, you get downgraded to a lower tier server.
Where things are much more chaotic.
Yeah, with aggressive enemy spawns and a rapidly ticking clock.
That framing actually captures the mechanism perfectly because arbitrary metaphysical label.
It's grounded in something physical.
It is. It mirrors the sidereal month. That's the time it takes the moon to return to the exact same position among the stars, which is roughly 27.32 days.
Oh, wow. So it's tied to lunar cycles.
Yes, but this model takes that microcycle and scales it all the way up to a macrocosmic level.
It makes it universal.
It represents the total cycle of time that must be mathematically divided across the 4 great eras, or yugas.
Okay, so we need to figure out exactly how we get to that 0.2, 0.4, 0.2, 1.32 ratio. Let's look at how this math plays out at the absolute beginning of time.
The very start.
Yeah, the first number in our sequence is 0.
Right, which brings us to Satyuga, the very first era.
The golden age, basically.
Exactly. In this mathematical model, Satyuga gets exactly 0 of the 27.32 nakshatra cycles.
Wait, why 0? The text mentions that the entire era is just one single nature yuga cycle.
Right, unbroken.
It encompasses its own dawn, its own day, and its own dusk, completely uninterrupted. So if life is happening and a civilization exists, how does it mathematically equate to 0 cycles?
It comes down to physical location and orbital dynamics.
Meaning where the Earth is in space.
Exactly. In Satyuga, the Earth is positioned at its absolute maximum distance from both the sun and the moon.
So it's super far out there.
Right. And because of this extreme distance, the gravitational and astrological friction of the sun and the moon is entirely negated.
It just doesn't reach us.
Exactly. And more importantly, the influence of the nakshatras is also completely negated. They are simply too far away to exert their cosmic pull.
So they are entirely off the grid.
Basically, yes.
What governs reality if all the standard celestial bodies are just out of range?
The text states this era is dominated by entirely different forces. The Saptarishis and the Dhruv realms.
Who are they?
Well, the Saptarishis correlate to the stars of Ursa Major, the Great Bear constellation.
Oh, okay. The Big Dipper area.
Yes. In this cosmology, they act as distant, pure spiritual and gravitational anchors. And Dhruv is the pole star, representing absolute fixed stasis.
An unmoving center.
Exactly. Because of this perfect stasis, the text calls this the era of Siddha's perfected beings who are not subject to the rapid decay of time.
So if Earth is at its maximum distance from the sun and moon, is this samano essentially a state of cosmic buffering?
Cosmic buffering, that's a great way to put it.
Like, imagine walking completely out of range of your Wi-Fi router. The data of time, aging, and lunar influence just, well, it stops downloading into our reality.
That's spot on, because time, as a mechanism of change, mutation, and decay, is driven by the energetic friction of these celestial bodies rubbing against each other, so to speak.
It needs that friction to move forward.
Right. Without the intense gravitational pinging of the sun and moon, time simply doesn't compress. There is no rapid data transfer.
So you just get pure stillness.
The result is an era of pure stasis, hence the zero.
But total stasis can't last forever, right? I mean, if the Earth is orbiting in this massive cosmic macro cycle, that Wi-Fi signal of gravity has to eventually come back into range.
It inevitably does.
So what happens the moment that connection is reestablished?
That brings us to the next number in our ratio, the 2.
The second era.
Right, Treta-yuga, the cosmic geometry begins to shift. The orbital distance closes just enough that the influence of the Nakshatras and those presiding deities...
Kashyap's sons.
Exactly, they finally begin to take hold on Earth.
But even with that influence starting up, the sources emphasize that the cosmic energy remains highly stable.
Very stable.
We are talking about an era that spans millions of years. And in all those millions of years, the energy is so stable that only 2 civilization cycles form.
Just think about the societal implications of that for a second.
It's hard to even wrap your head around.
If a civilization lasts for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years without collapsing, it means the biological and environmental friction is practically non-existent.
Everything is just incredibly resilient.
Societies are incredibly slow to change. Technology and culture don't rapidly decay, and they don't get violently overthrown.
They just persist.
Exactly. It is a slow, majestic unfolding of human potential.
2 cycles over millions of years sounds incredibly peaceful. But the gear shifts again, right? We move into the Dwaparuga.
Yes, the 3rd era.
This is the 4 in our 0.2.4 ratio. What exactly causes the historical pace to suddenly double?
The primary catalyst for this shift is the moon.
The moon. Just the moon.
Just the moon. As the macro orbit progresses, the moon enters a much closer proximity to Earth. And this introduces a completely new energetic dynamic.
What does the text say about it?
It specifically notes that the moon brings restlessness and fickleness into the equation.
Restlessness.
Hmm.
Wait, why does the moon inherently equal fickleness? Like, how does a rock in the sky suddenly destabilize millions of years of perfectly good stasis?
It's all about tidal forces.
Like the oceans?
Not just oceanic tides, but biological and emotional tides. The gravitational pull of the moon creates literal physical friction on the planet.
Oh, I see.
That friction generates heat, and heat generates change. The perfect stability of the previous eras begins to actively break down under this new gravitational stress.
It's agitating everything.
Exactly. Because of this new lunar restlessness, time compresses. It speeds up just enough to result in 4 distinct civilization cycles during the Dwaparuga.
Okay, let me do some quick math here to keep us grounded. We have the total cosmic cycle of 27.32.
Right.
And so far, over the course of these first 3 massive, incredibly long eras, we have accounted for 0, plus 2, plus 4. That is only 6 total cycles.
6 cycles down, yeah.
But the total is 27.32. That means we have a massive chunk of this cosmic gear set completely unaccounted for.
A huge chunk.
We have a massive bottleneck of cycles just waiting in the wings.
And this sudden bottleneck brings us directly to the present.
Oh boy.
The era we are currently inhabiting, and the era that feels like it is moving so impossibly fast. Kaliyuga.
The 21.
The 21. If the first 3 ages account for only 6 total cycles, the remaining 21 full cycles are violently crammed into Kaliyuga.
We really need to explore the actual mechanism here.
Yeah.
How does a civilization go from lasting hundreds of thousands of years to suddenly flashing in and out of existence?
It is entirely a matter of density and gravity compounding.
Compounding how?
Well, in Kaliyuga, the Earth has moved into the deepest, densest part of the cosmic orbit. The gravitational fields of the sun, the moon, and the Nakshatras are overlapping intensely.
So they all pulling on us at once.
Right. The sheer friction of these celestial bodies is at its absolute peak. And because of this immense pressure and density, Kaliyuga is calculated to be a mere 432,000 years long.
Okay, I have to push back on that timeline just a bit.
Go for it.
432,000 years still sounds like a very long time from where we're sitting today.
Sure, subjectively.
How do you fit 21 distinct global civilizations rising, falling, and completely resetting within that window?
You really have to look at the math proportionally.
Okay, how so?
Compared to the millions of years of the previous eras, where only 2 or 4 civilizations rose and fell, this is a flash in the pan.
Right, the turnover rate is crazy.
The turnover is staggering because the environment is so volatile. The text points out a fundamental mistake that modern thinkers and traditional astrologers make when they try to map this history out.
What do they get wrong?
They mistakenly assume that the moon and the speed of time have always moved at a constant rate. They project our current chaotic physics backward.
Here is where it gets really interesting. The sources argue the speed of time is absolutely not constant.
Far from it.
In that first era, Satyuga, the buffering zone, the moon, which the text refers to as Jiva, moved incredibly slowly. The math in the sources calculates it at just 2.22 revolutions per year.
Let that sink in. At 2.22 revolutions per year, the gears of time were barely moving.
Or crawl.
But by the time we reach Kali Yuga, that speed has exploded to the roughly 13 revolutions per year we experience now.
The gravitational forces have just compounded.
Right, and time is spinning at maximum velocity.
Picture going from playing a vinyl record at a smooth, slow 33 RPM and then suddenly cranking the dial to a frantic 78 RPM.
It sounds chaotic.
The music distorts, the pitch goes way up, and the needle, which represents us, our biological bodies, starts violently shaking in the groove.
It's too much input.
We simply can't handle that high-velocity energy. That is exactly why the text says human lifespans rapidly shrink down to just a few decades in Kali Yuga. Our biology literally cannot withstand the friction of the cosmic gears spinning that fast.
It is a profound way to explain biological aging through cosmological physics.
It really reframes everything.
The rapid resetting of civilizations isn't just a result of human error or wars. I mean, it is a physical imperative driven by the sheer speed of the environment.
We are just burning out.
The biological organism burns out faster because the timeline it exists on is moving faster. We are literally being ground down by the cosmic gears.
Okay, so we have accounted for 27 cycles now.
Huh?
The 0, the 2, the 4, and the frantic 21.
Other.
But the full model is 27.32. That leaves one tiny, highly specific fraction entirely unaccounted for.
The 0.32.
Right, the 0.32. Wait, hold on. 0.32 of what?
That's the big question.
How do we jump from a tiny decimal in a mathematical ratio to an actual, tangible block of time? Walk me through that math.
Okay, so it is 0.32 of a full Nakshatra cycle. When the ancient astronomers calculated that fractional remainder and converted it into solar years, it translates to approximately 6,484 years.
But what is the function of a 6,484-year decimal? You can't just have 32% of a civilization.
Well, think about how our standard calendars work. A lunar calendar and a solar calendar don't perfectly align.
They drift apart over time.
Exactly. Over time, they drift. To fix that drift and keep the seasons on track, traditional lunar solar calendars add an extra month every 3 years.
Oh, like a leap year, but a whole month.
Yes. In Indian astronomy, this leap month is called Malmas or Adhik-mas.
Right, a leap month to balance the book.
Exactly. This 0.32 is the universe's mathematical buffer time. It is a cosmic leap month at the very end of the macro cycle.
So what happens during that buffer?
Its entire structural purpose is to act as the pralaya, the period of dissolution.
Dissolution. That implies everything is breaking down completely.
It is the final chaotic period at the very end of Kali Yuga.
It's total reset.
The universe uses this 0.32 fraction of time to completely wash away the old impurities that accumulated during those frantic 21 cycles.
It's a cleaning phase.
Right. It is a mathematically required clearing phase to prepare the ground for a brand new creation. A fresh cycle starting all the way back at Satya Yuga.
So this 0.32 is basically the universe's IT department scheduling mandatory server maintenance.
Ha! Yes, exactly.
We've been running at 78 RPM, everything is overheated, civilizations have been crashing left and right for hundreds of thousands of years.
The system is completely overwhelmed.
Right. So this 6,484-year buffer is the literal downtime required to wipe the cosmic hard drive completely clean of all the viruses and glitches before they can reinstall a fresh operating system for the next cycle.
Without that 0.32 buffer, the system just wouldn't be able to reset.
Oh, break.
It would shatter under its own accumulating density. It is the built-in safety valve of the cosmic gears.
Ensuring it doesn't just self-destruct forever.
Exactly, ensuring that destruction ultimately paves the way for renewal.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
That's the real takeaway here.
We started this deep dive wondering why a single week feels like it just evaporates. According to this ancient 0.2.4.21.32 acceleration model, time is not a linear flat line that we just casually stroll down.
Far from it.
It is a high-speed labyrinth governed by the mechanical gears of the Nakshatras, driven by compounding, accelerating gravitational forces.
It's an engine running on overdrive.
The ancient sages mapped this out mathematically, proving that history isn't just repeating itself, it's actively spinning faster.
It really brings this massive abstract cosmology directly back to your everyday experience.
It makes it so personal.
Then the next time you feel completely overwhelmed by your schedule, remember this ancient framework.
You're not going crazy.
You aren't just overly busy. According to this model, you are navigating the densest, highest velocity cycle of the cosmic gears. You are living inside the 21.
You are the needle shaking on the record player. Looking at all these sources, there is one final provocative thought that I couldn't shake.
Oh. What's that?
It isn't explicitly spelled out in the text, but it is where this logic inevitably leads.
Okay, I'm listening.
The sources clearly state that the high-velocity energy of Kaliyuga physically shrinks our lifespans because our biology can't handle the sheer speed of the cosmic friction.
Right, the burnout.
But if time and the moon's velocity continue to accelerate exponentially as we crash into that final 0.32 buffer phase, that period of absolute dissolution, could our subjective perception of time warp so drastically that a single day eventually feels like an entire lifetime to a future generation?
Oh, wow. That is an intense thought.
Could the environment compress time so much that it fundamentally alters what it means to be a conscious human being? Definitely something for you to ponder until our next deep dive.